So it's been another few months, so here is the Blu-ray haul for winter 2024. First, we have Twister. I like this movie. I grew up watching it all the time on cable, so when I heard they were making a 4K Blu-ray of this movie, I figured now would be as good a time as any to pick it up on physical media. I also like this movie because it's a pretty light watch. It came out during a time before the disaster movies got really ridiculous, and way before disaster movies got way too serious. I think it hits that perfect middle ground of taking itself seriously enough while also having fun. I think this movie looks fantastic in 4K, and that is in no small part due to the fact that Jean de Bont, the original director, and Stefan Fangmeyer, the original effects supervisor, had a huge hand in making this 4K look and sound the way it does. Like, for example, during many of the Twister scenes, they finally got to portray the phenomenon of the sky going green during a Twister, which had never been done before because the technology just wasn't there at the time. You also get to hear about this a lot during the special features for this movie. You also get to see the process of making many of the computer-generated and practical effects for this movie, which I thought were super cool. They went into a lot of detail about how they constructed many of the different Twisters that we see, and we get to see behind the scenes of the many insane practical sets. You also get to hear about how the studio didn't initially want to make this movie because it was going to be extremely expensive and dangerous to shoot, because they were shooting this movie in Oklahoma during actual tornado season. You also get a director's commentary with Jean de Bont and Stefan Fangmeyer, which I think is just the cherry on top for this physical media release. Next we have Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. This movie takes place hundreds of years after Caesar's death and follows Noah as he goes on a quest to save the rest of his clan after he's attacked by a rival group with a tyrannical ape dictator leader calling himself Proximus Caesar. This movie is directed by Wes Ball, who you may know as the director of those Maze Runner movies that came out about 7 years ago. Overall, I think this movie's pretty good. It's not as good as the trilogy that came before it, but if they are so hell-bent on continuing to make installments in this franchise and have it leech off the story of Caesar, I guess this is a pretty decent movie. I think that Owen Teague as Noah is a very basic but very effective protagonist for a story like this, although I don't think there was a whole lot to explore with his character. And same goes for characters like Rocca, who is a very one-note character who I feel was just there to exposit exposition that we kind of already knew. And then we have Proximus Caesar, played by Kevin Durand, who I thought was a very intimidating antagonist. I thought that the way that he had basically turned Caesar into a martyr and then twisted his words to suit his own selfish and egotistical desires was very interesting. And if you want a little peek behind the curtain, we also have the raw cut of this movie, which takes out all CGI effects, and it also has director's commentary. I think that overall, that's super cool, and I'm so glad that they included that in this package. Moving on to exclusively Blu-rays, we first have Batman, the complete animated series on Blu-ray. This has all 95 original episodes, plus the Batman the Animated Series movie Sub-Zero, and Batman Mask of the Phantasm, all on Blu-ray. I think this is a fantastic box set. It is split into 2 separate Blu-ray cases. Most of the discs also come with their own bit of special features, including a disc exclusively of special features, whether that be featurettes on the conception of this TV show, or little bits of concept art, or little in-universe files on all of the villains that are present in this show. My only small issue with this box set is how the episodes are ordered. For example, the first episode on the first disc is On Leather Wings, which is the third episode on Max, and is the second episode that aired according to Rotten Tomatoes. And the second episode on the first disc is Christmas with the Joker, which is the 38th episode of Season 1 on Max. Personally, I prefer it be the 38th episode of Season 1, because then it feels like they're not playing their cards too early, because in my opinion, this is one of the best episodes of Season 1. Lastly, we have 8th Grade on Blu-ray, which was written and directed by Bo Burnham, which was the whole reason I bought this, because I'm a Bo Burnham fanatic, and also because this is one of my favorite coming-of-age movies of all time. This movie follows Kayla, a shy 8th grader, on her last week of 8th grade. This movie stars Elsie Fisher as Kayla, who really just carried this entire movie on their back. They gave a great performance. Josh Hamilton as Mark Day, Jake Ryan as Gabe, Emily Robinson as Olivia, Luke Prale as Aiden, and Daniel Zalgandri as Riley. I love this movie to death, and I think that is in no small part due to Bo Burnham's great writing for the screenplay and his very simple yet effective direction. I think that he's really good at putting you in Kayla's perspective with how he uses the camera to convey her emotions. But the world that Kayla lives in feels larger than life and also strange and weird and different, and that is all conveyed through just very simple camera moves. And this feeling is hit home with Anna Meredith's great music. For example, the pool party scene made me feel like I was watching the strangest thing I've ever seen in my life. It felt so normal, yet so alien, and it made me want to have a panic attack. So, mission accomplished. Bo also knows when not to use music, like in the Truth or Dare car scene, which makes it all the more terrifying. I feel like this movie likes to make you feel uncomfortable. Every interaction is very awkward, every social situation is new and foreign, but the only scenes I feel that are not this way are the scenes between Kayla and Olivia and Kayla and her dad. The scenes between Kayla and Olivia provide a nice bit of levity for the movie, because I feel like the whole movie Kayla is trying to figure out her place in the world, and I feel like when she's with Olivia, she finally feels like she belongs somewhere. And I guess to a lesser extent you can say that with Gabe, but I feel like at the beginning they kind of started off on an awkward foot, but by the end of the movie they find a genuine connection with each other, and I think that this contrasts quite nicely with the relationship that she has with the internet, which doesn't really seem to provide her with anything. It kind of just seems like a void that she tries to speak into with no response. The YouTube videos that she makes get little to no views, the Snapchat posts that she makes get no engagement. It really is an accurate portrayal of what it's like to be on the internet as a teenager in modern times. Now moving on to the special features for this Blu-ray. They're pretty minimal, but they're also really cool. We have director's commentary with Bo Burnham and Elsie Fisher, which I think is super fun to listen to. They're always a blast to listen to, whether that be in podcasts or interviews, and I think this is just more of that, so it's great. We also have the music video, which is basically just the 8th grade trailer, but if it were an acid-filled fever dream. And this is also available on Bo's YouTube channel for free, so it's kind of a superfluous addition. There are also 3 deleted scenes on this Blu-ray, and they're as follows. 2 of the 3 scenes are just a prolonged series of awkwardness, which fit the theme of the movie, but I do feel they were either portrayed in a better way or condensed better in the movie. Like, for example, this first deleted scene, which is just an extended version of the opening scene of the movie. I feel like the scene in the final movie has a better pace, and the extended scene drags in the beginning, but I do like this portion of Kayla at the dance. The second scene comes right after that, and is Kayla and the other kid voted most shy in his class, sitting waiting to get their picture taken for the yearbook. I see why this scene was cut because it doesn't really add much to the final movie. The third scene is just an extended version of the chicken nugget date, and just like the first deleted scene, I feel like it drags in the beginning, and the final version just really gets down to what the scene is about. Overall, the special features for the Blu-ray are very minimal, and for a movie that I really like, I'm sad that there's not more of them, but what we got was okay. Overall, I just really like that I now own one of my favorite movies on a physical format. So that was my physical media haul for winter of 2024. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one.